Welcome to the Improvtoons. I'm walking through Nottingham with Liam Weber. Liam, what companies or teams are you on?
I play with a bunch of people. I work with my sim. I play with Denise's 50th, Epic, the Clones, Ramsey's, a bunch of teams, lots of teams.
Awesome. And today in the Improvtoons, we're going to go over a little game called Black Sheep. Let's welcome the Rainbow players. Let's talk about Black Sheep. Now, Black Sheep is kind of a concept because it's broader than just a game. So I've seen it played as a short form game. I've seen it played as a herald game, how they have the commercial breaks in between the acts. But I've also seen it as a concept or as an improv trope happen within scenes. When this situation rises up, you're playing the improv game Black Sheep. This is why one of the reasons why short form games help your long form game, because you see how these games naturally arise the chemistry, how they come across, and then you can see when that happens in an improv long form show, and you nail that as a team. Okay, so here's how the concept of Black Sheep or the short form game Black Sheep works. What happens is you get a group, here are the Rainbow players, you get them all on stage, and you're trying to find a similar point of view. They could all be yoga instructors, or they could all just be fitness nuts, or they could all be cat lovers, people that all love cats. And what happens is they establish that first pattern, that first behavior. We all like cats, and they're peas in a pod, and oh, I love cats because of this, I love cats because of that, blah, 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 right? So everyone is on board. You're setting up the world. You're establishing the setup for the pivot moment, right? So at one point of view, everyone's on the same game, and you're still yes-anding, you're still escalating, you're still making emotional connections, but everyone's sort of peas in a pod. Then at some point during this time, after it's already been established, and I would say don't rush this point, because the more you establish this point of view and the more you get into it, the funnier, the bigger payoff there is for this pivot point. Then at one point, either one person intentionally makes that bold risk of, I'm going to deviate from this point of view, or people just discover what's been shared is a little bit different than everyone else in this peas in a pod scenario. And that person becomes the Black Sheep. So if we're saying, for this example, the Rainbow players have come forward and we're all cat lovers. Everyone loves cats. I love cats. Me too. Cats are great. Whatever it is, they're all sharing their points of view in cats until someone shares something along the lines of, especially tigers. Right? So now that's deviated. They've gotten more specific, but they're talking about big exotic animals. So then it's been everyone else versus one player, because that one player is like, I like lions and jaguars and leopards and da-da-da-da, and everyone else goes, I'm talking about domestic cats, because you can't cuddle a lion kind of thing. Here's the thing. Here's the secret to making this work, right? You don't want there to be anger. You don't want there to be humiliation, because the audience can feel that, right? You want there still to be the sense of playfulness. Although it looks like, especially with the Rainbow players, that it looks like there's 6 people versus one person, in reality, it's one point of view versus one point of view, because 6 people contribute to the scene so much more and will steamroll the payoff, which is one person. The audience wants to see the reaction in that one person. So it's literally one point of view versus another point of view. So all 6 people that share this domesticated animal point of view only get 50% of the line or emotional reactions or the contribution, while this one other person gets 50%. So it becomes tougher to be in that group, because you have to share all those specifics, all those ideas, all that point of view, while that one person gets the other half of the argument. And you want to still escalate. You want to still bring in specifics, because the payoff there is the reaction. It's the game reaction and then the reaction of the audience. It's GRR, if you remember me saying that, GRR. It's the game, it's the reaction to the game, and then the reaction of the audience. And you don't want to steamroll any one of those, because the payoff is not the new concepts that come out. It's not the clever ways that players throw out more and more offers. It's how the player reacts. It's how that Black Sheep reacts to those concepts that's going to be the payoff. And then the audience has to have a beat, a moment, a way to digest those so that they may react too. Because if you cut off the audience's reaction, then you're going to cut off the reaction to anything, and they're not going to laugh as much. If you cut off the player's reaction and you just keep on steamrolling to throw your ideas on there, the audience is going to get the same payoff as watching that one person's reaction. And this can be used in really broad strokes. I mean, you could have everyone playing like bros, and then the one person says something that's like, I love Pilates, so it's not very bro-y or whatever it is. Everyone plays the black sheep against this. Or you could have everyone playing balloons, hot air balloonists, and someone saying, yeah, instead of like gas, I like to actually use water, steam, even though it doesn't really work, whatever it is. But the concept is the group versus one person. And that's Black Sheep. It arises as a short form game, it arises as a herald game, and it comes up in scenes all the time. And now that you know how to recognize it, use it to your advantage. And if you know how to recognize it, you can use it to make it almost seem scripted. Have a great show. I am with Emma Bird. Emma Bird, what teams or companies are you on?
Liverpool Comedy Improv is where I teach.
And where is this?
In Liverpool.
Awesome. We just did in the Improvtoons, we just saw Black Sheep, and Black Sheep is a short form game, or it's something that happens sometimes naturally in long form games, and I hope it helps you out with your improv journeys. And Emma always says her best advice for people doing improv is...
You can't get it wrong.
It's awesome.